game is underway. Love Tractor in a person defensive matchup. And the swing goes out of bounds. So now Love Tractor will get the disc for the first time of the game. Chance to break. While it's not raining, it is pretty windy, upwards of 15, 20 miles an hour. It's a big swing off the sideline, that's good. But a pick called in the process. Disc will stay where it is. Love Tractor in a vert stack with a lot of space on this force side, closer to the screen. Just checked back in. Mulder to Schwab. Fast Carmen shoots for the end zone, and that is a break right off the bat. Maria Schwab gets the goal. And a miscue on the swing is quickly converted by Love Tractor. So working a lot of those unders, able to convert. Love Tractor most recently played Steamboat, the team out of Cincinnati, and won on double game point. That went to 15-14. And then yesterday, they lost to Amp and Noise, but beat the Fire Ultimate Club. Whereas on the Slow White side, they also dropped to Amp 14-4, but beat Steamboat, Noise, and Fire Ultimate. Amp also competing at the World Ultimate Club Championships, losing in the semifinals. So Slow White back on offense. Centered, Vicky Chang over Friedman. And a hand block on the disc. That was Cam Kittredge. So another break opportunity early for Love Tractor. The layout does not connect with the disc. Another opportunity for Slow White. Continuing that to that far side. Nice reaching catch. Keep that dump swing alive. And a pick is called. You see a lot of space between the handlers and the stack. And you might wonder if that extra distance is a little too much. Rachel Westgate, the intended target. So another possession for Love Tractor. And the disc is soaring one-on-one in the end zone, but there's the block from Alex Trahey. So walking back up, Slow White looking to get their first points. Huck goes up right away. The hat flies off from speed and wind, but incomplete. And a pick called. tight spaces for the handlers. High release backhand over the top is completed. And another shot to the end zone. There's blue and white, but not quite the connection for Love Tractor, but it does put the disc on the opposite end of the field, so Slow White will have to work it farther. Quick swing and a dish near sideline. That huck is flying. It had a lot of speed on it. The hucks going both directions on the field have a lot of speed, but see more of a huck and play D strategy from the teams where you throw the huck, you want to complete it, but it's more to get that field position in case there are turnovers like this. Chang picks up for Slow. Now in scoring position. Looking for that continuation. She'll stick with the force side, and Slow White will hold. That was David Friedman with the goal. So after several back and forths, Slow White is able to maintain possession and get the score. See Slow White coach Marshall Goff giving some pointers to the team. Longtime coach of this program that has been around since 2004. It formed around players from Boston University and Private Research University, also in Boston. And with the mixed game, their end zone dictates whether the ratio is 4 women and 3 men or 4 men and 3 women. It is the end zone on the right side of your screen that will dictate the entire game. They flipped for it, the captains did at the beginning, using the hand signal saying 4 men. So Love Tractor tapping it in, isolation play, Jesse Ream in the force side space. There's longtime player on Johnny Bravo. And that pops up in the air. Batted down, looked like it might be caught on another attempt, but instead, it's a Slow White possession. Schachter looks for that bladey look, and it was caught, but head turn a little bit, so incomplete. Disc goes back to Love Tractor. McShane has that little dish to Franklin. Quick swing off of the sideline. Wind is certainly gusting strong, and the teams know that they have to be careful, so do this bladey flick that does work. moves the disc to the far side of the field. And that throw, no good. You could see it, the edge got caught by the wind a little bit. So each point so far showing it's going to be hard fought. That is floating and goes over the top. Sean Doherty was open in the deep space, but that disc was sailing pretty high over him.
Keep him here, Flo, keep him here. Down here.
But the Huck and Play D strategy still in place. Love Tractor working it underneath, going towards the disc rather than deep shots going away. Ream with the sliding catch.
Get there, Tom.
Now Love Tractor approaching the red zone inside of half field. They've moved into a red zone offense. Just outside the end zone, that dish and continuation is good. That was Zach Nager. So Love Tractor goes up 2-1 early on, and lots of possessions back and forth. You can see here Love Tractor using the wind to help create more of the float. You can see the intention of the angle of the disc as well. The wind caught a lot of teams a little bit off guard yesterday. Now there is I'll call it a gentle, steady rain. It's a little bit more than sprinkling, but it is definitely steady.
Hey, sideline, let's make sure we're behind you guys. Not raining bad yet.
So the gender ratio is currently 4 women, 3 men. Love Tractor pulling to Slow White. A little bit of a bounce, but that's caught, centered to Chang. And bounces off of the hands of Westgate. So Love Tractor again approaching the end zone. Lots of fakes to get open. And there's the shot. It's floating, and there's a layout too, but just a little bit too far in front. One-handed snag by Go underneath for Slow White. They'll continue it to the near sideline. You have some cutters going deep. That opens up space underneath. Tapped in. And a layout bid manages to pretty much avoid body contact as well. The disc is back with Love Tractor.
Rachel, you're next. Rachel. Yeah, Rachel, nice see. Rachel. Up. With our legs! Run.
And Love Tractor working out of this vertical stack, coming closer to the end zone, kind of alternating who is back handling. Able to do that in a vertical stack. It has very cyclical motion to it. And it appears the rain has subsided just for now. Looking for the end zone and another layout. Hey, Hillary Egan knew she needed to leave her feet, and even then the wind just caught it a little bit. Back in play, the huck goes up, it's floating, and goes over the head of the Slow White receiver. So now, Love Tractor, another opportunity to break. The line drive and just a hand. I believe that was Leanne Go who registered that. The disc was fairly low. So Chang taps it back in. Looking for positioning again for Oliard. Oliard able to catch this time. Looks for his receivers to catch up. Nice one-handed snag by Leanne Go. Looks for Caitlin. And that's a go connection. Slow White score. We're tied at 2s. See, in stride. Leanne Go catching it and seeing that nice continuation cut from Caitlin. Little sister fun there. Also coordinating headbands as well. Also helps keep the rain out of your eyes. So each point so far, multiple possessions. And you can see the field positioning that the teams are trying to have. It's interesting too, the difference geography makes as well. At Pro Elite Challenge, each of the finals teams had at least one team, mixed team had 2, who were from Colorado because of the altitude. And we saw as well so far in the tournament, especially on day 1, teams with Midwest experience were a little more comfortable in the wind and rain. But there's so many elite throwers at this tournament, you really see them use it to their advantage. Some tight person looks from Slow White. Love Tractor getting some swings to the handlers, now working it upfield. And that continuation is incomplete. Floating high, will it get the second shot? It is caught. Slow maintains possession. Trapped on the far sideline, looking up line through contact. It is caught. Ryan Cardinal right on the goal line, puts a little floaty backhand to space, but the next continuation out of reach. There's the flick, one-on-one. It's still live. Will it be caught? Second attempt,
Walker!
no. Walker Hatchet got the block.
Let's go! Let's go slow! Not too deep, Tom! Not too deep, Ivan! Hey, Ivan! See Ivan break! Walker, poach! Walker, flood! Walker,
Little quick
flood!
handler
Walker,
dish.
Walker, poach!
Still have to go down the full field. That's low and sliding, but complete.
Hey, it's Poachy! It's Poachy! Who's here?
And there's a turn. See another benefit of a huck from Love Tractor. It was incomplete or was blocked earlier, but now they're in the red zone offensive set. There's the hammer, and it's floating and trailing, but it bounces off of Zach Nager about 3 times, but it's complete, and that is a goal. See, the hammer is going exactly where Nager thinks, but bounces 1, 2, and then 3rd time's a charm. Register the break for Love Tractor. So we're in the first half of play. Love Tractor currently up over Slow White, 3-2. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald coming to you from Blaine, Minnesota. Temperatures about 72 Fahrenheit. Local time 11:08. It was raining earlier around when the game started, but it has stopped for now. Wind fairly consistent rather than gusty. Chang isolated underneath, puts up the huck looking for Oliart. Oliart completes. He'll reset it. And go just steps outside of the end zone.
Tim! Tim! Coming around. Ayo, run.
Quick look to get it back in, and Caitlin Go, her 2nd score of the game, and a much quicker point. No turnovers. It looked like an initiation play from Slow White's part that paid off. See, so much control from the Slow offense. Looking for that nice continuation. Slow White signaling 4 men, 3 women for this next point.
Track.
You can see the funny nicknames on the back of the Slow White jerseys. Kind of starting with, you know, the different dwarves, but then sort of evolves into whatever he thinks fits you. So Love Tractor will catch the ball and center it.
They want to throw to him, Pat. Hey, here we go.
They have 3 handlers back, but still working in a vertical stack, but there's a lot of spacing between the handlers and the stack. Sometimes that happens. Teams will do that because there will be cuts off of the front, but the cuts are still coming off of the back of the stack. Ream launches one to Nager, and he bids and slides, incomplete. These high release backhands are working, going towards the left, the end zone on the left side of the screen. A high blade, and Ream gets that one back. He gets the block as he falls to the ground, sliding. Another hammer look, but no good. Different throwing angles depending on where you are on the field. And that toe drag was enough for it to stay in. Slow maintains possession, and that'll do it for that point. Some quick dishes. Pat Barron was the receiver. So you see a toe drag and some fakes. And Slow White, after coming off to kind of a shaky start, they'll take the lead 4-3.
Why don't you step outside your comfort zone? Try something new.
Look, I stepped outside my comfort zone and make a pint of tequila before 11 a.m. today.
That's fully within.
So a lot of exciting events happening here. This is the second year that the U.S. Open has consisted of the ICC and YCC divisions. It's an interesting tournament because there are a lot of high-level teams here. There are international teams as well. And for teams that were recently at the World Ultimate Club Championships, some took time off, some didn't. Slow White, of course, we discussed how they were at Worlds. And so there are a couple different peaks. You want to peak at Worlds for your performance there, and then also peak at regionals to qualify for club nationals. And the throw through coverage from Love Tractor is incomplete. Slow White will pick up. Tran finds Hampton, and now some quick passes from Slow White. And Tran, one-handed, stays in bounds. And that is a quick score and a break for Slow White. You can see that Slow hardly hung on to the disc for more than probably a count and a half or so. But that was enough to keep the defense on their heels and able to convert. And they'll go up by 2. Be sure to join the conversation. Let us know who you're rooting for. We see in the comments so far fans of both teams are rooting. That's good to know. The teams a lot of times will go back and watch all of this too. If you post about it, be sure to hashtag US Open Champs. The way that the brackets and the pool, you go straight to semis. And that is partially because of some TV contracts and things like that that are in place. So our live streaming coverage will switch over after this round for the ICC division. It'll switch over to the ESPN3 team. Some on ESPN2 tomorrow. But today there will be, I believe, 3 semifinals. Tomorrow will be a 4th semifinal, and then all 3 finals on Sunday. Whereas on the USA Ultimate live stream you're watching now, this will move over to the Youth Club Championship coverage in both mixed girls and boys. And a lot of these ICC players have said, you know, this is a great tournament for us. This is a big deal for us. We are at the US Open. However, our nationals is in October. For the youth players, this is their national championship this weekend. So you'll see their coverage all the way through Monday, the finals of each U20 division on USA Ultimate social media. Love Tractor back on offense. And through pressure, still caught. Love Tractor looking to have that quick disc movement. So far, seems to be working well for them in this point. McShane right outside, probably 10 yards outside the end zone, as Love Tractor moves it across to the other side of the field. Getting close. And little give and go to open up space on the break side. Love Tractor converts, gets the goal. Dory Franklin catches that score. So you can see the strike cut from the handler opens up the space on the break side, and Franklin knows that that is an option in the end zone, so she cuts really well to that far sideline in the end zone. Slow White up by 1. So half is at 8. The time that you see on the screen is the time to hard cap. So soft cap is about 20 minutes earlier than that.
Goodness sakes!
And the pull, it bounces, but Slow White maintains possession. A lot of spacing on the field. And a hand on the disc from Love Tractor bobbles, causes Slow White to bobble, but they're still able to catch it. Caitlin go up to Chang. Chang with a floaty flick, but too far in front of Leanne Go. Slow White working it all the way up the field, but not quite there for the score. Love Tractor winds up for the huck, and it's veering to the right and coast to coast. That is good. Dominic Lopez reads it all the way in, and Love Tractor answers with a break to tie it back up at 5s. And Mulder sees that Lopez is going deep. Lopez catches it, and his momentum takes him to the ground. But we're tied up. So we're tied at 5s. Half is at 8. And Slow White answered with a break, had a break. Love Tractor answered back. Team signaling 4 men. The end zone on the right. Chang isolated again in that initiation cut, then goes back to handle. Now Slow White inside of half field, looking to take the lead. A dive, and Chang just misses it. So Love Tractor with the break. That's a flick that's flying, and through coverage is completed. Pete Gleason catches it. And it is signaled a goal by the observers. A second consecutive break for Love Tractor. So the put from Love Tractor went down this near sideline. It was a forehand flick and had just enough float and then curve at the end that despite being pretty tightly guarded, Gleason was able to get there. 6'1" receiver. So a timeout's called on the field. With this U.S. Open event, there are a lot of subsequent events that happen to make it just an additional amount of special. Last night there was an Equity and Diversity Forum here at the National Sports Complex, and there was a really nice wide variety of panelists who talked about not only gender equity and diversity, but racial diversity as well, so socioeconomic, and really, really well attended. Tonight, there is a gumball for female identifying players and coaches and staff to celebrate women and girls in sports. And it's a neat opportunity for the youth players to see a lot of these elite players as well at the same tournament. So now, even at this field right now, there are some youth players who maybe they're in a bye, or the round times are not exact between the ICC and YCC divisions. But we've seen a lot of youth players on the sidelines. Conversely, several teams are missing players in the ICC division because they are going to either coach or play in the YCC division. A lot of angle on that pull.
Nice, who's next? Yes, Caitlin. Yes, Caitlin.
Go connects underneath, continues to this near sideline. And the throw as it's falling to the ground is good, but the next pass is a bounce and incomplete. So now Love Tractor approaching the end zone, another opportunity to break and go up by 2. And that continuation is good. That is a break for Love Tractor, Ream to Mulder, and they're within 1 of taking half. You can see with those continuation cuts, once Ream caught it, Mulder once again sees where he needs to be. So Love Tractor calls the timeout. If they can get another break, then that will take it into halftime. But it's been a game of runs for both teams, several lead changes back and forth. And while the first couple of points of the game, the teams were kind of feeling out the conditions and the pace of either team. We saw multiple turnovers, multiple possessions. But after those first few came through, haven't seen quite as many turnovers. We've had turnovers that have caused break conversions, but overall, teams converting. So coming out of the huddle, Slow White looking to hold, take it within 1, and hopefully get another break to tie it up. Love Tractor, on the other hand, if they can break here, they'll take it to half. Kind of looks like they're discussing either a zone look or some adjustments on the mark. Take a look, and anxious to see what they'll do here. So immediately, Slow sends 1 cutter deep, 1 under. They get the under shot. Love Tractor in person look. That initiation was useful. Slow White's able to gain yards right away. They're going underneath, working towards the end zone, and that is a goal. Pretty clean offense from Slow White. Pat Barron with the disc to catch it. And on that forced sideline, can see that continuation. Barron is open. And Slow White worked it mostly on that forced sideline, which is the far sideline. Cramming it through, some might say, but if it works, it works. So they score quickly. Take it within one. So 7-6 is the score as the pull goes up and then drops kind of around the brick mark, is about as far back as it is. And layout interception from Slow White. If they can get the break, they'll tie it up to tie it at 7s, but they'll need to score first. Really big gust of wind just as the stoppage of play occurred. And that is trailing out and sails overhead. You saw so many flat passes from Slow White until that end zone shot. And the wind is definitely a factor. You saw it pushing a lot to that far side. And a travel is called on the mark, or at the disc. So immediately looking to swing it off the line. Love Tractor wanting to take half if they can score here. But have to fight through the wind and the Slow White offense first. The huck is up and overhead. It was probably one hand length away from Nager. So another opportunity for Slow White to break. And the second attempts have been working really well for Doherty. Almost like a little set in volleyball. A little more difficult with the disc. Layout D. This time, Ream is the offense, but a foul's called. No contest. Hatchet keeps the disc. A pick is called. The count's still at 0. So White finds that underneath, near sideline. Continues. Fitzgerald, the disc. And there's the end zone shot, but it's a little bit short. Ream, it's there enough. If all 6'3" of Jesse Ream wasn't there, then that most certainly would have been completed, but tight defense, that'll do it for you. But bounces off of Love Tractor. Thought Caitlin Fitzgerald might get the Callahan, but the disc fell to the ground a little too quickly for that. So Schachter walking it up. And there is a pick call on the field. We'll see if it's involved. Actually, it was a foul call. It's a foul call in the stack. So the disc goes back to the offense. Schachter will check it back in. And bounces off of the hands of the receiver. Love Tractor, I guess they were looking to huck it right away, but instead it's a throwaway underneath. Through the layout, bid, disc is still caught. Stoddard surveying her options, goes right up the line. Nelson is not in. And the continuation, Slow White breaks back. Sean Doherty gets the score, and we are now tied at 7s. The next team to score will take it to half. And Slow White giving just enough lead with a lot of spin on the disc. So in Europe, I've learned that tied at 7s, where we are now in a game to 15, is called a galaxy point. What do you all think of galaxy point? I haven't quite decided whether I like it or not. But to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of ultimate point. Double game point is kind of more of my go-to. So we've heard a little bit from our crew. They're voting thumbs down on the galaxy point, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. So very tall pull, lands in, rolls around. Love Tractor sticking with the vertical stack, and the huck is trailing to the left. It's batted twice by Ryan Turner. And Cantwell thought maybe he could get it, but it did go to the ground. Slow White with an opportunity to take half.
Yeah, Cardinal.
A little bit of float on the backhand, but there's still completed. A call downfield. Ryan Cardinal has the disc. So a little shimmy and a fake. And The observer signals goal. Ryan Turner caught it. There wasn't a call. And Slow White will break and take half. They lead Love Tractor 8-7. Can see that flat throw. Waiting, trying to balance it on his hat for a delayed little flip spike thing. And Boston Slow White ahead by 1. A game of traded leads, multiple breaks on either team. We will take a short break and we'll have halftime interview coming up. Stay tuned.
What's up? Okay, because like when I don't say anything, but it was like her right foot was up, this one was in, and it was still here. It had it here. The issue is I probably should have just like dropped down and do this because I didn't know if her foot was touching the grass or ground. The foot out was up. The foot was back here. If it was touching the grass or not. Yeah. Yeah. So, I was just curious because I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch the replay. It's harder. What do you want me to do? It's a different angle.
Third question.
Yeah. So. After the point, I go over and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch the replay. Thank you. Good job up there. 5-minute warning! 5-minute warning! Go to the outside.
And we're at halftime. Boston Slow White leads Denver Love Tractor 8-7. I'm here with Slow White coach Marshall Goff. Hi, Marshall.
How you doing?
Good. So this has been a very back and forth first half. How have you managed, breaks and then getting it back and kind of keeping that calm to then take the lead?
Well, some of this comes from the mental work we did last night. We had a sort of a bad finish to yesterday, did work last night to make sure the team was going to stay together, and I think that's helping us now. The beginning of the game was good fight from everybody, and we saw that the whole time. We weren't putting in defensive opportunities. We got that run in the middle when we started putting a couple of those in and knew we were able to do that, and that's where we're finding it.
Seen some success from the initiation plays on offense too. How has that really helped open up some options on the field?
Well, I mean, a body in motion is a little more likely to stay in motion than a body at rest. If we get that first throw off, we get another chance at the second throw, more options, more angles. And so we really try to create good isolation for that first throw. If we can get that anywhere on the field, we're a little bit better in motion.
And what factor, if at all, has the wind or the intermittent rain really played on the team?
Oh, well, I mean, mentally, I think both teams are dealing with that pretty well. But, obviously on the field, some throws are harder. You get to play some angles a little bit differently. Both these teams have good throws and good receivers. So, it's not like we can't go for the out throws. And we're just trying to find, the best opportunities. We talk a lot on D about, when we're on O, we want to give ourselves easy things to do. We know what those easy things are. If we can deny those and make them have to do something hard, we get a chance.
Exactly. And you see some of those defensive chances and opportunities.
That was a great run-through catch block from Walker, for sure. That's big to get us a chance to close out the half up. I mean, it's a long way to go to end up on serve, but there's a lot of fight and a lot of game left.
Exactly. Well, good luck in the second half. And that's Marshall Goff with Slow White. They lead Love Tractor 8-7.
Thanks very much.
Love you, Mitch. No, it's not like that. There's like, it's like everyone's like, and it's like Shenandoah Valley, and like all these, and they're like, oh, so someone good. And then I looked up like Cali Mon. It was like 7 points of comment, works for Fulcrum Media. I was like, oh, well, hello. We're out here, We're using our brains this morning. Still the morning.
Welcome back to Blaine, Minnesota. We are at the half in pool play. Boston Slow White leads Denver Love Tractor 8-7. It's been a story of back and forth, each team answering with breaks of their own. Slow White took half, but Love Tractor will start the second half on offense. The disc, the pull landed on the line. The line is out.
When I'm staring at her, like, spin, like, ah.
So checked into play. Lots of fakes. Ream on the force side. That continuation still on the force side. Flick Huck is up, and that is a goal. Garrett Mulder with the disc to catch it. Meg Henderson gets the assist. And really working with the wind. Henderson gets enough spacing. You can see that angle on the disc to find Mulder right away. He had probably about 2 steps. So we're tied at 8. Game to 15, top 2 teams in the pool will move straight into semifinals. Currently, Amp and Slow White lead in the pool. Love Tractor and Noise are sitting at 2-2 apiece. Slow White 3-1. Amp went 4-0. In Pool A, Dragon Thrust and BFG so far winning out, and they are playing each other on the other live stream. So the pull is floating, but lands in. You could see all of the spin on the disc. It was still spinning even after it hit the ground. Center to Chang, over the top to go. Some handler movement to this far side. Continuation. Approaching the red zone. And a bobble catch, but that's good. The sliding grab is a score. So Love Tractor will also answer back. Sean Krieger with the goal. And Westgate has enough of a fake that she is able to find Trahey. And then that continuation gets the goal. So Slow White takes the lead, 9-8. Looks like the clouds are thinning out a little bit here. I don't want to say anything and jinx it, though. But we do still have 2 more rounds on our live streams today. They will switch over to ICC coverage. Pull lands pretty much in the middle of the field. Sets to Ream. It's a side stack. A continuation towards the near sideline. working through Ream. And a pick is called. Big floating swing gets the disc to the other side of the field. Love Tractors working their handler movement. You saw some fakes for the high release backhand. Those have been working, but there is the hammer over top. However, the disc immediately goes back. And then we'll go back to the receiver and is in fact ruled a goal. Dominic Lopez catches the hammer, thinks it needs to go back from a goal, but they go ahead and toss it back to Lopez. So Love Tractor answers back at 9s. Lopez, 19 years old, 6 foot tall. His second goal of the game. So there's 30 minutes to hard cap. So that means that soft cap will go on in about 10 minutes. Does not seem like we'll get to 15, but that remains to be seen. The first few points of the game were fairly long. They had multiple possessions back and forth. And then the teams were really trading breaks. Slow White took half, and now both teams have scored an offensive hold.
Come on, Chewy! Now reel, Chewy. Reel, Chewy,
Oliar to Chang. Chang on the near sideline. Goes up the line to go. Pick is called. Disc will stay. Sails over Chang. Intercepted. Love Tractor on offense. They quickly reset to McShane. Walker to Egan. She resets to McShane. And McShane with the huck. It is high and floating as players from both teams go underneath, but that is blocked by Sean Krieger. So Slow White will walk it up in the vertical stack. And a high release backhand over the top. It goes straight into the hands of Friedman. Friedman on the goal line, and Caitlin Go slides and catches it. Slow White gets the goal. That backhand hits Friedman right in stride. can see Caitlin go on the right side of your screen. She's going to the back of the end zone, plants, and then cuts to her left, our right, to get open. So Slow White 10, Love Tractor 9. For a lot of teams as well, this tournament is useful for them from a bid allocation perspective as well for nationals and really for the series. There are algorithms set up by USA Ultimate based on your wins and losses from out of region. So you don't want to win by too much, you don't want to lose by too much, but if you beat or get beat by a team by 6 or less, that ends up working the most in your favor. Kind of a strength of schedule type weighting. Love Tractor in a vertical or a horizontal stack. We've seen them in vertical stacks so far. They're cycling through the middle. Facet Carmen, it's a low catch, but she manages to get it. Protter, far sideline, swings it over to Mulder. Hammer over the top. It's looking for Facet Carmen. She was open, but the hammer couldn't quite connect. Slow White checking it in. That is high up, but there's space for the reception. However, Slow White is almost at the back of the end zone, so they're in a bit of dangerous territory. It's high up, it's floating, it's knocked down. However, there is a call. So the disc will stay with Nelson. Nelson looking to really get favorable field position. Love Tractor gets the disc back. But now they're at half field, whereas otherwise if there was a turnover where Nelson was, much closer to the end zone. Some gusts of wind during that stoppage, but Love Tractor now coming underneath, but the throw is batted away. Love Tractor trying to get the break, but it is completed.
Keep going.
The disc was called in and swung. Slow will keep it. They're looking to go up by 2 if they can score here, but it was a foul called. And a timeout is called on the field. Slow White is up by 1. So on the live stream following this round, you'll see either from the YCC U20 boys division, either Atlanta Athleans versus Boston Buddha, or DC Foggy Bottom Boys versus Seattle Supreme. And that is at 1 Eastern. This is Central Time. Currently local time is 12:06 p.m. And sometimes people snicker a little bit the name Foggy Bottom Boys, but that's actually a neighborhood in DC. Still kind of a funny name, but that's where that comes from. So disc is going to be checked back in shortly by Schachter. Get the quick dish, trying to go up by 2. And a shot to the back of the end zone, straight into the hands of Ivan Tran. Slow White is able to convert. They break, get a 2-point lead. So Hampton looking for her options, instead goes right over the top of the stack. Tran's defender was coming up to help. So that left him open, but really a precision throw on Hampton's part, plus the heads-up play from Tran. So 11-9.
Corner of the end zone.
This is Love Tractor's 3rd tournament so far of the season. They began the year at the Summer Solstice Tournament in Fort Collins, where they beat Mesteño, another Colorado team, 15-12. And then they won the Pro Elite Challenge over another Colorado team, Shame. So this is the first time they've had to travel outside of Colorado for a tournament.
Here we go, Hannah.
Now they're looking to get that break conversion, but the one-on-one under, there was a block, but now a call on the field. And the soft cap horn has just sounded. So that means after the end of this point, it will either be a game to 13 or game to 14. So the disc goes back, contested foul, Love Tractor with the possession. They'll send it, and they do have a receiver, so they can continue their possession. They'll reset it to McShane, continue over to Franklin. And some air bounce on that pass is enough for Nager to catch it right up the line. That's a completion and a goal for Love Tractor. They're still down by 1, but crucial point for Love Tractor to score this late in the game. can see Nager as he catches kind of difficult throw. Sees Francis Gellert there on that continuation. So it will be a game to 13. So you can see some YCC teams warming up in the background, other teams walking around. It's a huge sports complex. And it's really interesting. Before this was a sports complex, this was actually a sod farm. And because of that, they built the sod farm with an irrigation system underneath. So if you jump up and down on the fields, you can hear sometimes a bit of a hollow sound. And that's because when it rains, the water seeps through underneath the grass and then streams into these viaducts that are in the middle of the field. So despite heavy rains last night, the fields have some wear, but it's not a swamp or a marsh. So Slow White looking to get their 12th point. Pick called, immediately goes back. So Ream is on Oliart. It's been a big deep look for Slow White. Slow working it underneath. Starting to approach the red zone. Can see very carefully catching with two hands. And a quick look. Caitlin Go, believe that's her third goal of the game. That brings Slow White within one to win. We saw Go, an integral part of the Stanford Superfly team, the college women's team out of Stanford.
Oh, game to 13? Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I thought I heard the cap go off.
So a game to 13. You can see the time ticking. Again, that's to hard cap.
Hey, we gotta help sideline.
Slow White, if they're able to break, they will win. Love Tractor, though, will get the disc and have an opportunity to score first. Pull lands and rolls. Centered. You can see some help defensive sets from Slow White. Even through, Love Tractor's able to keep possession. Nager, counts getting high. That inside sliding look. And run through D. Gets the disc to Slow White. If they can get the break here, that'll be game. But they have to go full field to do it.
Work, Pat, work! Yeah, Olivia, nice cut, nice cut. Clear out, Olivia. Yes, nice. Sorry.
You can see the disc falling to the ground. Team's not afraid to have a little bit of a slide to get there. After some discussion, the disc is called up, resumed back into play. And games, you see more bids than disc caught upright. And on the goal line to decide the game, that is a score. Slow White gets the break, and despite a shaky start, Amelia Shoemaker rather, will catch the game winner as Slow White forces a turn to get possession, and a low release, the hockey assist. Hannah Baranis will find Shoemaker. So Slow White will advance into the semis with that victory. They defeat Denver Love Tractor 13-10. So from this Pool B, Amp and Slow White will both move on to the semis. And the Dragon Thrust BFG game still happening, but it looks like Dragon Thrust is down to BFG. Mixtape, the defending national champion, had a shaky start yesterday, going 1-3, and even just did not have the performance they would have liked. But on this field, Slow White overcoming a slow start to make the plays that they needed. Hand blocks, run through Ds. Love Tractor doing their best to convert, but in the end, Slow White proving victorious. This live stream has been produced by Fulcrum Media for USA Ultimate. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.